as you pass through what is the largest gate of the city, or of this town, you can see like these. There's quite a big group of these Zentarim mercenaries mixed in with the town watch, standing at the gate, passing you through. Immediately, as you get on the other side of this gate, across the moat, you are immediately diverted off to the right. Not in the direction you were looking to head, which was kind of straightforward, as there is a market currently happening in the market.
So we're headed towards the drill fields, effectively.
Yeah, you're kind of... So off to the right, yeah, you can see these drill fields and the big barracks, where currently there are the watch doing some practices. But yeah, this is a fairly fluid affair. They seem to be staggering the wagons to kind of keep the flow of traffic within the city to a minimal, so that you're not going to get jammed up. So you have to kind of guide yourself past the drill fields, kind of up towards, past these rickety buildings on your left, and then down some of the other merchant streets. It's not quite Waterdeep, right? It's a small closer, trading town. It's closer together, but it's quite quaint. It's quite lovely, and there's still a lot of people about. You can see Ducal Castle up on the hill. You can in fact see that from all locations in the town. And yeah, it's a fairly well built and kept town, all things considered. Either way, you finally make your way towards the Farmer's Road and Farm Street, and there, standing before you, is the largest inn and tavern in the whole of the town, the River Shining.
Finally, here at last. I'll finish the rest of the bottle that I've been drinking the entire way I've been going, and stuff it in the back.
Its look and decor seems to outdate all of the other buildings within Daggerford, and its size dwarves all that are near it. Peering through the windows as you pass, you could see what seems to be many wealthy patrons inside, doing business, playing games, resting up. You pull up the cart around the front of the establishment, and there the hanging sign stands before you, emblazoned on the words River Shining. A figure of a human woman appears at the doorway, promptly following your arrival. She wears a white frilly shirt, quite baggy on her slender figure, yet your eyes are immediately drawn to her rather extravagant bright red corduroy and pilgrim shoes.
Nice shoes!
Oh, they're just part of the affair. I take it you're my delivery?
We're looking for Durley Cross. He's is it he, I assume, or are you a Durley Cross?
No. I'm Durley Cross, yes.
Oh, I do apologise. It's just an unusual name. We happen to have a large amount of wine in the back, and we are here for payment on delivery, I understand.
Oh, yes, indeed. I'm just so surprised you made it.
Surprised?
Well, there's been quite a few deliveries not making it. Not necessarily too surprised, but,
How many deliveries...
I could be the unlucky one.
How many deliveries haven't made it?
A couple every week.
Interesting.
Going either way, honestly.
Now, I couldn't help but notice, on the entrance to your wonderful little town here, those Zentarim chaps seem to be running some sort of additional security at the gate?
Honestly, I don't really look into much, but no, I'm not very happy about it.
And the guards, the City Watch is just working with these fellows, or how does that work?
They follow Mrs. Daggerford. Up at Ducal Castle.
Mrs. Daggerford, relative of the wee lad on the bridge, I assume.
Oh. Sorry, my bad. Lady Daggerford.
Lady Daggerford.
Must get that right.
A relative of the wee fellow with the knife on the bridge, I assume, with the lizard folk I heard so much about.
Oh. Yes, this town has quite the tourist attraction and history. Be sure to check it out. In fact, this is the oldest tavern in the whole of Daggerford's history. It actually used to be the living place of many wealthy nobles, and has been here since even before the walls around.
But it looks like the most newly renovated property.
No. It does look like the most old.
Sure. Okay.
It is very much outdated.
Well, I can't think.
And completely.
I can't think of a more wonderful place to stay during our visit. Would you happen to have a couple of rooms available for me and my accomplices here?
She looks over towards Bogman on the front of the wagon.
Don't mind me.
And then kind of looks back to you. I think you might find a better place elsewhere. Perhaps try the Lizard Gizzard, or just look around.
No. This place will do just fine. I'll jump off the wagon and head immediately into the building.
She kind of lets you pass, but immediately closes the door behind you.
Where shall I pull the wagon round?
Oh, yes. Just leave it there. I'll deal with it. Here's your... She chucks you the money. Little pouch.
My friend here, he's a bit more for this kind of fare. I'll head down the road, see if I can pick us up some rooms there, and I'll kind of trundle off.
Yeah.
And I'll leave light. I mean, a kind of notion to you if you want to go in or you want to follow me, whatever you want to do.
Well, Light is quite the scruffy person, so probably not her ideal clientele. He says in his tattered, many times repaired garments.
Well, to be fair, we've got the money and he's got the titles, so he can make his way in there, and we'll when he realises he can't pay as well, we'll meet us at that Lizard Gizzard place, you know.
Sounds like a lovely place.
Yeah, so we'll head to the Lizard Gizzard, and Monty's inside the tavern, I guess.
Cool.
Okay, as you're moving away, you just hear Monty yelling, outraged at the insult to his friends, and he's really causing quite a stir in there. And then Monty leaves, slamming the door behind him, and just incredibly perturbed. And then he runs after the wagon and says, "No, you wouldn't like it in there anyway. Very scruffy furnishings for such a historical building."
There was one thing that did catch your eye, Monty. You noticed amongst kind of the noble folk of the town, and they were indeed noble folk, in fact, as posh as those as you've met in Waterdeep. You did notice that one of the booths did have some rather shifty men sitting in them too, very much like the Zentarim mercenaries at the front, led by, or seem to be talking to a much smaller halfling figure. But you were too much in a rage and stormed out before you could get any more.
I was outraged. It's an outrage, I tell you.
Unfortunately for Light and Nails, you wouldn't have heard any of Monty shouting, as the tavern is so rich that they have a permanent silent enchanting on every single wall. However, you hear him down the street just behind you, storming out of the establishment. Either way.
I will take my custom elsewhere, good lady.
Monty, you didn't have to go to all that faff. I'm happy to make my way.
It's not good enough for you. It's certainly not good enough for me. That's what I say. Always stick together in this crew, and I mean, it's clearly you've done some hard manual labour today, there, Nails, and I've never seen a more fine cat person as Light.
You now see, kind of passing down the road, heading actually towards the market square, the gnome who was travelling behind you. He kind of looks down towards you three, and in particular looks at Nails here. Look, you don't have to work for him, you know. You can work for someone better. Don't listen to him.
It's a matter of choice. I like the cut of his jib more than the jib of your cut, to be perfectly fancy.
And I'm literally like standing there carrying my fine clothes, like very daintily, like all my fur kind of things and all my jewelry and stuff, and like trying not to get any of me on it, like, as I waddle down the road.
He's still kind of going past, he's going very slowly past towards the market square, and he just goes, "Look, don't you want to be doing something good with your life? Some actual labour, some actual work, and not just carrying this idiot's clothing?"
I think he's talking about me, you know.
I think he's trying to refer that these clothes aren't mine.
Excuse me, good sir, that my friend Nails bought these fine accoutrements with his own money, working with me on far greater things than...
Well, at least you pay them.
What, pay them? It's an equal share in this little outfit, I assure you. I am really not interested in money, more the adventure of it all.
Just tutting, not listening to anything you've got to say, and continuing on.
The judgment people have
square.
before they even get to know a fellow is quite remarkable in some parts of the world.
Either way, as the wagon passes, you now see this greenhouse wooden structure in front of you, and a sign hanging outside depicting a boy with a dagger in hand standing over a gutted lizard.
Now, I wanna
The
just
lizard's
say
gizzard.
that this looks like much more my kind of fare.
And I'll step in, like literally still Mudman. I'll just slot my way in.
Door opens, and you are greeted by the smell of kind of some perfumes and general cleanliness, as around you is not a tavern as necessarily expected, but a laundry or a laundrette, and at the front a half-orc kind of stands, looks over at you. "Hey," she says, "you're looking for a place to stay?"
Yes, I think I was rather missold.
Oh, no. Welcome to the Lizard's Gizzard. I am Sasha. I run this establishment. We're two things. We're a laundrette, and the inn is upstairs. Although it is only an inn. If you're looking for more of the kind of refreshments and drink, then I'll have to kind of pass you off to perhaps a different establishment that provides such things. Though my beds are comfy and my baths are warm.
The bath I will most certainly take.
I didn't want to say it.
Don't worry, you didn't want to smell it either.
And
I'll just make my way. I'm enjoying myself.
I'll just have to tell some of the ladies to stop the washing, and we'll leave you to it.
And I'll like hand over
My clothes.
and sort of I'll kind of I'll probably actually. Does she look like she looks like an honest kind of like working person? Yeah, I kind of like just like literally plonk down what is essentially like 100 gold pieces worth of like jewelry and like clothing, like of like it's like essentially like old day chavware, like in her hands, like the most expensive kind of gaudy stuff I could get my hands on, like in her hands, and just be like,
Keep good care, and I'll be back after.
and then I'll just literally like slop off into the back and leave you two.
Oh, of course.
Sasha, did I get that right? Your name's Sasha?
Indeed, yes.
Oh, Sasha, I just want to congratulate you on such a wonderful business mentality. A 2-in-1, you say, a tavern and a laundrette.
It's not actually for business. All of my employees here, they all come from slightly more disadvantaged backgrounds. Give them a place to stay in order for work and...
Yes, I understand. Many of my own people come from also very disadvantaged backgrounds.
Yes.
Not me, obviously, but, Sorry, introductions first. Apologies. My name is Montgomery Hammersmith Smythe. My friends call me Monty, and Sasha, I think we can safely say that you're a friend of mine already.
Okay.
You can call me Monty.
Am I getting your rooms? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, yes, please. The finest ones you have,
Okay.
please. For me, Miss Nails and Mr. Light here would all very much like to have a room each, potentially.
Yeah. Tim, please take these lovely gentlemen to their rooms. He kind of nods and just kind of heads on over. This way.
Hello, Tim.
Yeah.
My name is Montgomery Hammersmith Smythe. My friends call me Monty.
He just...
Tim, I think we can safely assume you can call me Monty. Now, please, take me off to the rooms.
Light, with your passive perception, you can hear Sasha's eyes roll. So you're taken up to some fresh rooms, right? So nice, quite homely rooms as well. Some nice white linens on the beds, but also dressers that are still filled with kind of books and things. It's a really quite quaint establishment, and not too pricey at all. It'll be a couple of silver a night per person, so plus any donations that you wish to.
So, Tim, come here, my lad. Do you enjoy working here at the Lizard's Gizzard?
Perfectly. It's honestly one of the first proper jobs I have. Sasha gave me a chance, and I get some pay to spend at the markets, but free food and a free place to live. What more could you want in this world?
Indeed. Maybe some wine occasionally, but you look a little young for wine, aren't you, my good lad? Now listen.
Tad.
Now listen. I couldn't help but notice on the way in, there's a fair few of these Zenturin fellows working with the town's watch. You wouldn't happen to know how that came about, would you? And how they happened to start working with this Lady Daggerford up in the big house?
I don't know, honestly, sir. But I'm not sure I like it, and I don't think many others like it either.
Maybe you tell me, how long have they been here for in this capacity?
About a month.
A month, you say? That does seem an awful long time, like they're here to stay almost. Would you say that?
I fear so. Though I don't have much to comment.
Obviously. Now here's a couple of coppers for your time there, Tim. Now thank you very much.
Please just put it in the donation box downstairs. It gets divided between us. I couldn't accept it.
Tell you what, here's a silver for your honesty, and put it in the box yourself. How does that sound?
Okay, sure.
Good lad, Tim. Good lad. I gently tweak the edge of my mustache to make sure it's still twisted.
He's trying to work out whether he's supposed to leave or not.
Oh, please, please, Tim. I'm sure you're busy. Off you go there, my lad.
Right. Thank you, sir. Heads on out.
I turn to Light, and I'm like, what a nice young man. You're a very industrious little fellow, unlike that chap with the cart.
I'm imagining it's kind of at this moment that he kind of walks out, and there's just the Beast King of Nails walking down the hallway in his towel. He's sorry, sir. Just kind of ducks past and runs away.
If I were you, I wouldn't go in there for, well, I just wouldn't go in there, to be fair. But if you were, leave it. I've left it draining, done my best, but hands are a little bit ham-fisted sometimes. But I heard you took donations. What's that for?
He's completely dumbfounded.
I'm literally just standing there, like hands on. Like I have no idea why he would be like.
Yes, and he walks off. He's so confused.
Right, you are then.
And I'll head back into the main sort of body of the structure to get my stuff off Sasha. And
so my real question is,
where has she got like an office?
No,
or?
she's kind of got like there's a very small side room. But yeah, my real question is, it's kind of afternoon, so you've still got a bit left of the day. If there is anything you'd like to do as part of the day, or we can kind of skip along if you're not going to do much else and go to sleep. Up to you. What's the plans? You can have a look around Daggerford if you want.
I think we'd like to have maybe a tour around the town in the evening.
I was going to ask Sasha, basically, I mean, if you just want to skip this, if there's somebody we should talk to about the Zentrum involvement, if she knows anyone.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to push matters. I don't want to have an opinion, honestly. But you could ask the Watch.
And they're just at the barracks, is that right? Or have they got a separate structure?
Yeah, they work at the barracks, or if you're heading to a tavern, then I'm sure other patrons will like to chatter. Perhaps Lady Luck, or what are the others?
Lady Luck's rather abandoned me as of late, but you always have a crack of the dice, I suppose. Now, I hear you take donations.
Oh yes, and she just rattles the little box in front of her desk.
Well, I kind of spent it all on the clothes, but when I was trudging my way through the bog, I realised that, well, some of that might weigh me down a tad, so I don't need all them rings, so pluck the one you like and I'll be on my way.
I'm going to pick up random.
And yeah, I'll literally just let her just scoop whatever she wants out the jewellery pile, which is like, essentially it's just like the cheapest, chavviest gold, but it's still gold, right? But it's like, as much gold as you can stick on something to still call it gold. And then I'll just waddle out with the rest and get changed.
The ring in the coin slot.
We'll head to the Watch, right? Like that's because that's who she advised us to go and see.
Where I thought you were heading.
Yeah.
Cool. You're an urchin, aren't you, Bungle? Does that mean like you have like something that lets you navigate streets and stuff? Am I right about that?
The city secrets allows me to basically know secret patterns and flow of cities and find passages through urban sprawl that others would miss. And we're not in combat. I can lead our group to travel between two locations in the city twice as fast as normal.
Wow.
Cool. Fortunately for you, this is just a very small town. So
Okay, cool.
One way to
Well, it normally takes 10 minutes, takes us 5.
So, exiting the Lizard Gizzard, you start to head through the small streets of Daggerford once again. You can see it's quite bustling. It's market day, so there is a lot of visitors. But again, thanks to the restriction on certain wagons passing in and out, the streets are fairly pedestrianised, and there's no real problems walking through the town. You're heading over towards the south, towards the drill field where you passed by earlier, heading towards the guard barracks. We now see this expansive drill field with a number of the Watch currently training. On the other side, you can hear the shouts of their leaders echoing across. But yeah, you see on the other side a long 2-story construction overlooking this field.
What sort of construction is it?
It's kind of, well, it's just a building.
Okay, right.
Sure.
It's wooden. It's got large beams kind of up at intervals along, and it's got a door in the center with a notice board next door.
A notice board? I've read many a story where a notice board has been quite the jumping point off. We should always check a notice board.
Mosey on over.
Kind of looking up and down, there's the general kind of town notifiers, but there are 2 posters that do stand out. Both are missing person reports. One depicts a rugged, short-haired human father and his younger son, with the message, "Missing. Arthur and Aldo Bottleton. Anyone bringing news surrounding their disappearances to Martha Stonefield of Daggerford's militia will be rewarded 25 gold pieces for their efforts." Another, more faded, poster also hangs. Although the drawing is too faded to be deciphered, the message is still readable. "Missing. Arya Stonefield. Anyone with information regarding her disappearance, please report to the militia at once. You will be compensated for your aid."
And it looks like there's a fair bit of time between the two.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them's fairly fresh, and the other one is kind of greyed and faded. As I said, you can't even make out the image printed on it.
Sure. Is there is this like the entrance into is there a door leading into? Cool.
What was the name of the militia lady on the door on the poster again?
The person we're supposed to report
Martha
to?
Stonefield of Daggerford's militia.
Oh, right, and Arya Stonefield is missing.
Supposedly, yes.
Interesting. Well, shall we go find this Martha Stonefield lady and maybe make some inquiries?
You hear a voice from behind. Yes? What would you like? She's right here.
Hello, my name is Montgomery Hammersmith Smythe. These are my compatriots, Miss Nails and Mr. Light.
Okay, good to meet you.
We understand you've had some missing wagons, and we were wondering if any of these missing persons were linked to those occurrences or something similar.
I see. Your adventurers wanting to do the Watch's work. But yes.
Well, it looks like the Watch's work is getting infringed on by the Zentrim by observation. Am I right in that?
As head constable of the Watch, it is my duty to uphold order within Daggerford's walls. It is not my place to comment on the lady's decisions in the running of the town or whom she trusts such matters with. I stand by the lady in all that she does for this town. She puts out in a very monotonous tone.
And if we were to say that this was your break, then what would you say?
Exactly the same thing. Would you like me to repeat it?
Well, that's fair enough, if that's how you feel.
If you are looking into these disappearances, the Watch is on it, and obviously would love your information. But I would suggest perhaps going and speaking to residents near or around the Bottleton residences, just to the east. Just around the back of the Derville Smith.
And it does appear to say Stonefield, a relation of yours, this young Arya?
Perhaps. Good luck. She kind of loses a little bit of composure and turns around to continue ordering her troops.
What do I say, boys? Adventure definitely attached to this wall, that's for sure. Do you see the way she went peaky at the mention of her name? Wonderful. Maybe we should track down these Bottleton fellows and see what's going on with them, shall we?
Lead the way. Light, you think you can navigate us through this?
Light thinks he can find his way.
Cool. Well, you make your way across the drill field once again, kind of having to dodge out of the way of a couple of the maneuvers currently being pulled off by the Watch, not getting in their way.
Do they seem martially proficient from my training? Or,
Indeed.
They do?
Yeah.
Very good. Nice. Lovely technique. Very, very nice.
They are more than just the Watch. They are the army that would march upon any invasion to this town, of which it's had quite the history. However, you make your way around into kind of the more residential district, around the back. It's not too far at all. It only takes you a couple of minutes. It's found along the road connecting Corth Alley and River Road, a small terraced house that serves as the home of Arthur Bottleton and their adopted son, Aldo. There's silence for a couple of moments before coming to the door is a slightly grizzled man. Opens the door. Yes?
Oh, hello. My name is Montgomery Hammersmith Smythe. This is my associate, Miss Nails, and my other associate, Mr. Light.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, we're not here on some religious business.
Good.
No, we came to make inquiries after Arthur and young Aldo. I've heard they have been recently missing.
indeed. They have been, yes. Happened within the last 10 days.
10 days, you say? Would you mind, maybe if we came inside for a couple of minutes? I just, wouldn't want, too many, of the people listening in to the conversation, you know?
Sure. He kind of at least allows you into kind of the front hall. Closes the door behind him. You now see on the mantelpiece there's a picture of this man in front of you, Arthur, and their son.
So we had a bit of a run-in on the way into town, and we understand there's been a lot of that going on. Do you think that the same sort of folks, maybe the ones who've taken Arthur and Aldo captive, or waylaid them somehow?
I know my Arthur, and I know Aldo. I was working late, as I said, last 10 day, and it wasn't a very successful day at the market. I just needed to take the remnants of the grain that we had left that hadn't been sold back to the farmers. I knew I had to be quiet coming back, but when I returned, neither my husband or Aldo were here. They'd gone.
Snatched from here, the residence itself?
First-story windows were burst open. Bed sheets were torn as if ripped by a claw.
I hate to be insensitive, but we must get into the details of the matter. Was there any blood or any sign of maybe an injury, perhaps?
None that I picked up on. I hope they're okay. I'm sure they are. I trust they are.
Would you know anything about the Zentrum and what their involvements in town are recently?
Other than putting me out of business?
Putting you out of business?
Well,
How so?
They've upped tax rates. I am only a simple trader of someone else's goods. I had a contract with one of the farmers, and since introducing the extra tariffs and business at the front gate, they can't afford to hire me anymore.
Now, would Arthur or Aldo have any interaction with them by any chance? Have they any business with the Zentrum or counter business?
Arthur has been off work for quite a while since his injury. He used to be one of the farmers, and obviously Aldo, he's just young, so they used to stay at home.
They've not had any run-ins with any unsavoury types recently that would be notable to you?
Who do you think we are?
No, it's more a case of sometimes good people can fall on unfortunate times, and there are those around them who can prey on that.
No, not at all. Anyway, is there anything else, or can I get back to?
Sorry, miss. Could I ask? What did the neighbours say? Was there any disturbance or noise they might have heard around the time that these poor fellows disappeared?
I honestly don't really interact with the neighbours too much.
Is are the rooms still damaged? Are they left in a similar state to where they were, or?
The investigation last week has already been conducted. I fixed them myself. I'm used to being the one to the handyman around the house. So
And the claw markings. Could you describe the size? Are we talking human scale?
He kind of does the fish thing and kind of goes.
Yeah. And what does that kind of look like?
It's about the size of a humanoid hand.
Okay.
Could you tell us anything about Ira Stonefield's disappearance? Might have happened some while ago.
He kind of looks at you, still kind of bombarding him with questions, and he's just like, "Look, I really don't know anything. If you're looking into this, I'm really thankful, but I've got a lot of things to do. If you wouldn't mind."
Wonderful. If anything else comes to mind, we're staying down the Lizard's Gizzard. My name, as I said before, is Montgomery Hammersmith Smythe. But you please call me Monty. And if you think of anything else, please let us know. The slightest detail may blow the case wide open, as they say.
Yes, of course. If you can just get my Arthur back, and Aldo, of course, I'd be very grateful.
Rest assured, we are an elite group of investigators, and we will get to the bottom of this. For my name is not Montgomery Hammersmith
We'll be
Smythe.
on our way.
He kind of ushers you out and just kind of, thanks, and then he just closes the door.
Well, they were nice, weren't they? Wonderful.
Looking up and down at the building, like when she said like first story, like how difficult was it? Sorry, I missed.
It's a he.
It was a he. Sorry, when he said first story was like how difficult a climb does that look? And is there still any damage?
That's sheer wood, right?
Yeah.
And kind of you go ahead and look around. It's terraced, so you
Yeah.
got to go around the back of the alley as well. Looking around. Actually, roll me a quick investigation. Why
Yeah,
not?
for sure.
I'd also like to help.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll
I mean,
give
if we could
advantage.
look as a group, I suppose,
Yeah.
or whatever.
I'll give someone advantage.
So with advantage, that would be a 19.
19. Okay. So you're kind of looking around, and especially the front, there doesn't seem to be anything. It's not pockmarked at all. But round the back, you do notice where that top story window is now currently boarded up because they haven't managed. He hasn't managed to sort out the fresh glass yet. You do notice that some of the roof tiles have been kind of slipped off, and there is a very few number of claw marks, exactly how he described, kind of like human hand sized. They it seems with a 19, I'm going to even say that you can see that there are 4 kind of claws per thing. So it's some creature that has 4 kind of sharp claws on their appendage.
Cheeky buggers been moving around the rooftop, it appears.
Light's going to look at his own hand going,
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, like, looking at Light, I'll kind of be like, you think one of your kind of build could scale that kind of structure and move across the rooftops?
Light feels one could.
But would you also say that maybe they would have the strength to bring out a full-size adult male and a child without any blood being spilled? It seems awfully strange to me.
Maybe not to get them out of the window, but to get up to it and across the roof. Tabaxi could do.
Just in terms of, does it, like, physiologically, does it look like these are tabaxi claws? Does this look something more substantial than that?
Hard to tell. It could be.
It could be.
Mr. Light, would you mind maybe popping up there and maybe having a better look for us?
Light can try.
I'll kind of like, I guess walk around with Light, if he'll allow, and kind of like find an area of that would be kind of easiest to kind of climb up, and I'll kind of touch him on the shoulder and cast guidance, and just be like, now, try and do it subtle, like. What is the time of day? Like, because we're going to be climbing him on top of the roof in broad daylight.
Yeah, it's like late afternoon. There are people walking along the streets.
Yeah. What do you think? You fancy it now, or you want to attempt later? I mean, either could look suspicious, of course.
Both would look very suspicious. Light feels he will end up on the end of a rope.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there may be no more information to be gained. It's up to you, like, whatever you fancy. You want to tickle up there, we can give it a go. I know Monty's got a pair of lungs, he can give a good distraction.
You say the nicest things, Miss Nails, honestly.
Well, me, I'm all subtlety and grace, me. So.
Says the hulking hairy man.
It was a moment of ironic humour.
I would like to go and maybe knock on a few doors and see if the neighbours heard anything on the night in question.
Light feels this is a smarter line of investigation.
Yeah, I'll head round and see like maybe where we can see the tiles come off, like whichever side that is. Maybe start that there on that house.
Sure, you probably spend the next, half an hour knocking on doors, catching eyewitness statements. But while they heard some sort of commotion, a number of footsteps and perhaps, some thuds across their roofs. Other than that, there's not much information you really gather. It was clearly late at night, and most of the people were in bed or whatever. So,
Okay.
and a lot can't afford windows. So.
Okay. So, might
I suggest that maybe we consider trying to draw some intelligence from the official report if they'll share? We could head back to the watch and see what information they might have gathered, and then I suspect maybe this might be an out-of-town job.
Agreed. I would also, I would be very curious to speak to Lady Daggerford at some stage. I'm very curious about how she's running this town and whether the two things are, in fact, linked in some way.
You think you might be able to get us an audience?
Oh, you know me. I tend to, get into all the good parties and all the high societies wherever we go. I'm sure you'd love to have Montgomery Hammersmith Smythe come to visit her. Who wouldn't?
Like, you fancy a little wager?
Light likes the sounds of this.
I'll put 2 copper pieces in.
Which way are you going?
I'll kind of eye Monty up and be like,
You know what? I think he might actually have a chance.
It's getting quite late now. Now that you've been kind of exploring your line of inquiry, it's the market is definitely closing up. The militia is going to stop doing their practice on the field, and most other people are kind of returning to either taverns or their homes.
Shall we return to the watch and see what we can gather there, and then maybe call it for the night? And
Yes, that sounds very agreeable. I might even engage in a little bit of a bath tonight. You do smell quite delightful now, Miss Nails.
well, you might want to try a different bath, but
Right, you are. Let's investigate the town watch once more.
Cool. You head back. As I said, they're kind of retiring, taking any of the equipment they were using or off the field, and it's fairly empty. Just the dusty field beneath your feet. You head on over. A lantern is lit above the door, and as you arrive to kind of head to the door, you are greeted by a small chap. He seems fairly fresh into the watch, but he comes to you with just as much honor as the rest of them. Hello, citizens. How can I help?
we're looking into the disappearance of Arthur and Aldo Bottleton. We've already
right, yes.
we had a quick pre-say round the structure and found some remaining marks. And we were wondering what the official report says.
Notepad. Marks? Yes, no, we had that.
We're just wondering what the official line of acquirer was, so we can pool it with our own intelligence.
Well,
and
I believe, according to those investigators, it is suspicion of abduction.
Right.
And that is it. That is as far as we got. There are some other matters we had to attend to, like practicing and other militia-like things that have kept this town busy.
So the safety of the citizens isn't the main priority of the watch. The city watch.
Well, we've searched the town far and wide, sir. I can assure you that.
Did you get anyone up on the old roofs to have a look around, or was it purely on ground level?
We did, yes.
So, on the way into town, we were waylaid by a group, and they were, upon beating them back, they fled towards the marshes. Are you aware of any encampments or anything that could be potentially out that way?
That's the Lizard Marsh.
Aye, you know anything of what might be out there?
We all do. It's the lizard folk who still reside there. But you said these were thugs.
Aye. And they bore some interesting markings and wore masks and were interested in our cargo.
He's starting to take notes on this, right? What bearings, what markings?
I didn't catch a good glimpse, but I'm afraid it was all a little bit of a ruckus. But my point is, do you know of any a direction we should head out there if we were trying to seek these lot down?
Honestly, this is the first we've heard of this. No one else has made it with this kind of.
We've heard some reports that maybe some carts have been waylaid on the way to the city.
The carts, yes. I think this is. I'm putting two and two together too.
And you would happen to know what the line of investigation there is. I mean, there seems to be an awful lot of town watch in the town rather than on the roads.
Well, yes, it's quite a. We don't have to guard the whole 100 miles. It's quite far, you know.
On the way into town, I got a little bit dirty when I saw that there was a wreckage of a wagon.
Wreckage of a wagon, okay.
And
who? Whose wagon? What
it was
wagon?
for the Watchful
in the
Order of
wagon?
the Majests, and I'll describe the symbol.
Someone ordering arcane. Very interesting.
Well, I don't think they received their order. The bloody wreckage was in the swamp, wasn't it? Ruined beyond measure.
Do you know who in the town might have been interested in such fare?
You hear a voice. Ogdo, what's going on here? Martha speaks up. Sorry, these people have some information about what might be going on outside of the walls. I thought I told you, Ogdo, to always pass this kind of information on to me immediately. Did you not think to come and fetch me? I was going to.
Excuse me, Martha. Was it Martha? Martha?
Yes.
We literally just told the young man. I think he was literally going to come and get your attention any second now. But now we're here, maybe we could talk to you about it.
He passes the notepad over to Martha, who kind of flips it over, just quickly reads the notes and stands behind her. So you spoke to the Bottletons then? Sorry, Mouser Bottleton.
Yeah, didn't know a great deal, but we did have a look around the establishment and saw some remaining markings after the repairs.
Right, so no better than the watch there then.
No, we were curious about what you think could possibly have climbed across the roofs, down in through the window, snatched a man and a boy, and escaped with being unseen across the rooftops.
She kind of looks over all of you, perhaps her eyes linger on Light a little bit longer, and then go, I don't know, some folk who are of a more sneaky nature, you know.
Are you racial profiling?
You were telling us what?
We spotted a wagon on the way into town that had come under some form of...
got that here.
Do you know who might have been interested in the wares that would have been upon said wagon?
I mean, these are too rich for many of the folk here, but could be Hemlick. He's not a mage per se, but he is. He runs a shop of oddments and herbs. He's by the farmer's gate.
Do you mind me inquiring what interests the Zentrum in the cargo that's entering the town? It wouldn't happen to be arcane materials by any chance?
No comment.
So you said oddments, did you? There are oddments?
Yes, herbs and oddments. He deals in various trinkets from around the world. I think some spices, some lots of other things. But he also
Spices?
does provide, to liven up some food. But he does also provide some more arcane beneficiaries, things like potions, stuff far beyond my blood.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being so welcoming to me and my friends here. It's so wonderful to see such professional police work in such a wonderful little town as this.
Thank you. We will certainly take this into account and call upon you if we do get a lead and need some aid. Otherwise, the watch will be keeping you safe within these town walls this evening.
I'll turn around to the other two and I'll be like, Osmond's or the big house?
I think Osmond's. If they're missing cargo that should have been here, then they might have a little bit more information. To be fair, Monty, I have a feeling that our quarry's going to be outside the walls, and I don't fully trust the Zenturin's involvement.
No, shifty buggers die pretty good, though.
Lightfield's Heimlich will be closed at this hour.
Likely, yes. Fortunately, it's right by your inn. It's the Farmer's Gate is that side of town, so you could definitely at least walk past if you were heading over that way.
Yeah,
If we catch him out of hours, we might be able to get information in private.
So as you arrive, it's quite a big establishment. Imagine one of those kind of old-timey, like you'd find in like a cowboy film, that kind of huge general store, big wooden porches, ready, laden with goods. Unfortunately, not laden with goods. In fact, quite empty and a little bit run down, honestly. The sign on the door does say closed, but you'd be surprised if it was even open in the main day. But you do see a figure kind of tidying up inside. An elf is currently, doing his best as you kind of peer through the window to kind of tidy up the place a bit. Packaging up probably at the end of the business day.
I'll knock on the door, and in Elvish, I will say, "Hello there. I was wondering whether you had a moment to have a quick chat."
Look, I'm just fine. I'm only half of elf. Yes. How can I help? Are you looking for something? I did just close, so.
Actually, we had something for you. Actually, maybe some information which you might be interested in.
Okay.
Maybe we come inside.
Yeah. What is this?
Well, my name is Montgomery Hammersmith Smythe. This is my compadre, Mr. Nails, and
Pleasure.
my other friend here is Mr. Light.
Just Light.
Right. Yes. Nice to meet you all. What might this information be?
We happened, when we came into the city earlier on today, happened to find a wagon. Unfortunately, it was in a rather bad state of disrepair and had been run into the swamp. It was from the Watchful Order of Mages and Protection, and we were led to the impression that maybe that wagon might have been destined to join you and your wares.
It would have been. Was there anything left?
Mr. Nails?
Just the symbol proving its identity.
That would have indeed been mine, and I could really do with it. Many people like that side of it and don't really like the oddments, and you can kind of see along the wall there's just a bunch of trinkets and things, all pretty useless, but tit-tat that he's discovered around the world. Some of it looks cool.
Tell me, have the Zenturin shown any particular interest in your wares now that they've made their presence known in the city?
Oh, no, not really. I've had, I don't really need to distinguish. I will always sell my potions, but I don't believe it was them stopping my things through. They never arrived at the gate.
But they seem to be checking goods as they enter the
Oh, indeed, but I think that's the whole new tariff thing.
And you've not been informed of any of those tariffs falling upon matters of your own interest?
No, not really. Well, not that.
Because on the way into town, we were set upon by a group, I imagine a similar group to what maybe intercepted your own cargo.
really?
And they bore a similar markings, if I'm honest with you, sir. And I'm trying to keep that relatively
Well, the Black
private.
Network is rather, large and expansive, but if it is, then I'm going to be damn furious.
My point is that maybe there could be some group out in the swamps involved in an operation to prevent
Yes.
cargoes such as yours entering the town.
Well, the only things I'm really providing are like herbs and, well, I guess the arcane sections. It's all you'd really need to make potions or, that kind of thing. It's no high tier stuff. I'm not really, I'm not dealing in weapons. It's only really ingredients and.
Is he?
Though it's expensive, true.
Does it seem like he's telling the truth of what he's saying there?
Yeah, he has no reason to lie.
Sure. If we were to head out into the swamps and try and put an end to this. But before we do, have you put any further orders in? You're not expecting any more freight entering the town soon?
I am, but not for. I only get a delivery every month, and that one was only a couple of weeks ago. So, unless you're going to wait around for another 20
No.
days.
Well, hopefully we'll have this all tied up nice and pretty before then.
Well, if you do come across any of my supplies, then please bring them back to me. I'll pay for them.
Wonderful. I do have a couple of questions about maybe some of the disappearances that's been happening in town. Young Aldo and Arthur, and more intriguing potentially, Ira Stonefield. It does seem rather strange that a relative of the marshal of the town is being afflicted by this, and the mention of their name seemed to get their backs up. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Oh yes, unfortunately, Martha's gone through quite a few rough patches in her life. Let's say. I'm surprised she stays so strong. Her daughter was the only thing she really had left with her, and well,
Her daughter.
after she went missing, things kind of fell apart.
And when did this take place? Do you have
That
any
was-
recollection of?
About a month ago, and then obviously
month
the
ago.
Bottletons happened, last week.
So a month ago, would this be around the time that these Zenithal fellas showed up?
Zentrum, yeah.
Zentrum, that's it. That's the buggers, the Zentrum. Yeah.
No, I suppose it would be around that time.
Around the same time, interesting. And could you tell me where this poor young waif went missing? Was it at her Martha's accommodation, or maybe in the town?
I do not know. I just heard the reports afterwards that she had gone missing. Unlike the Bottletons, which was a clear break-in. So I've heard.
A break-in, you heard. A break-in, was it?
That's what
Rich
I heard.
folks with these Bottletons had lots of wealth that needed...
They've never come to my store, so I can only assume not. But
Seems rather odd to break into some poor folks' home and snatch them off into the night, wouldn't you say?
I don't know how these criminal minds work. Honestly,
No, I've looked into the minds of a few criminals over the last few days, and there's not much in there, I assure you.
He's talking literally.
Oh, yes, literally, yes. Now,
well, it sounds like Daggerford's problems are in safe hands. Or at
Intend
least
to look
violent
into it.
hands, but same thing, really.
We hear the lizard folk live out in the marshes. If we're heading out there, is there anything that a herbalist of your nature might be able to provide us with to assist us on our way?
Oh, I can at least provide you with a little book that might tell you which ones to eat and which ones to not.
Lizards?
Only if you get stranded out there. No, the herbs, of course.
Right,
just in case you get
stuck.
stranded out there. I wouldn't spend too much time in, well, the folk aren't too kind to us humans, in fact.
You've got no arcane wares that might be useful for such an endeavour.
Unfortunately, I haven't really been receiving deliveries, so I do not, but I'd be careful of their poisons. That is one thing they are well known for.
I'll show him one of the blow dart tips and sort of pop it down on the table.
Yes, Ian, you fucking genius. Look at you.
Starts to kind of take it, look at it. But he actually takes out of his pocket a like a jewelry glass or whatever. Starts peering a little bit closer at it. And yeah, he kind of looks at it. It seems to be laced in something. And he pricks his finger and just goes and falls asleep. Right there in the middle of his shop.
Oh. It's effective.
I'll instantly kind of, I'll kind of lean over and try and wake him up, tap him on the cheek, and pluck the item away from him.
He's out cold, but he is breathing.
I'm going to pick him up, and I'm going to turn to the other two. Maybe have a quick look around while I'm putting this fellow to bed. Maybe there might be something more to this store than appears to the eye. And I'll make my way back to the back of the store where I can find maybe a bedroom, for example.
Yeah. Roll me an investigation check if you're having a look around the shop.
Light, do you want to do this? Because I figure...
Yeah, I'll take the roll. 12.
You're peering through these kind of oddments and things. It is a very peculiar store. No real sense of cohesion. You've got these strange trinkets on one side, and then on the other side you've got these, exotic spices and things. Some wines, lots of other things. It's a fairly pricey shop. Think of it more of like an exotic greengrocer's.
Sure.
We should not tell Monty of these wines.
Did someone mention some wines?
No, Monty.
I've tucked the fellow off into bed and
he does start to stir as you are putting into bed. Well, it certainly knocks you out.
Yes, we're just gonna see ourselves out, but you wouldn't happen to know who would make such a liquid, would you?
Well, if it is indeed these lizards, then it would be them. One of their powerful shamans.
What if I told you it was wielded by a human?
I wouldn't know how to make such poisons. Not ones that knock you out that strongly. I only tested a little bit. I was expecting to just, kind of keel over and wake back up immediately. Wasn't even the full dose. The Black Network do have many links.
Yes, it does appear so, doesn't it? I think those links need to start to be unravelled. Good night to you, sir, and thank you very much for the time that you've spent talking to us.
Could you lock the door and just put it through the letterbox?
Yes, of course, good. Yes, of course, good chap. Well, good night. I'll head out, and if we're done with our business here, okay, I will lock the door and put the key through the letterbox.
You hear it thud on the wood on the other side.
How late is it now? Is the town quiet?
Late. It's pretty quiet, pretty late. There's still people walking about, but mainly just patrons of the local taverns and inns.
Maybe.
Otherwise, the watch is on their rotations.
I was thinking maybe we could go and maybe buy a beverage at that at the Rivershine Tavern, the first place that we went to. I did see some rather interesting people inside, lots of noble folk and the like, which you'd expect to be in a place like that, but also some rather shady customers talking to a halfling, which seemed out of place in such an establishment. If you wouldn't feel too offended going back there again and maybe buying an ale.
I'm a hard man to offend until I'm not, but don't you think you rather burnt your bridges there?
Oh, no. they're used to noble folk. They'll, due to our hot tempers, I'm sure we'll be able to smooth over any of the, ruffle
You're saying
feathers.
this as Monty opens the door.
Yeah.
A snap cut to you standing outside of the tavern going, well, what do we do now?
Well, it turns out they really took that to heart, didn't they? Strong language was used.
So it's it's even later now.
Was the halfling in there?
No, you didn't see the halfling in there this time.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we get some rest and then head out to the swamps in the morning then?
I'd like to maybe in the morning head up and go and visit the old manor house. I do worry that maybe our quarry is here rather than in the swamp at the moment.
My fear is that without any information, we won't be able to, or any evidence, I should say, we won't be able to part the nobility from their current fad with the Zentarim.
I think we need to work out what the nature of their relationship is. It's very uncommon for a noble folk to take on with criminal folk like this, especially when they have such an adept town watch in the first place. They seem rather unnecessary and rather hurtful to the town's economy.
So, just as an aside, the Zentarim, are they a criminal entity, or is it an underground entity? Like they're like a.
It's known. People know the Black Network. It's like anyone you talk to will have an opinion on the Black Network because they are that shady underbelly, but they're like the mafia. I think it's more like mafia. Everyone knows it's there, but you don't want to cross them, and like sometimes they're fairly neutral, so it can be beneficial, and sometimes not. It's like a grey area.
Sure. Okay.
Right
Cool.
then. Well, in the morning then.
So, you head back to the Lizard's Gizzard. The laundrette is completely on the low. You see, was it Tim in the corner, kind of settling into a midnight snack.
Sorry about the bath, Tim.
Just looks at you, twitching eye. You weren't there.
Yeah, like the war stories eye.
The war stories eye, exactly.
Light places
and then
a gold piece in the donation box.
he kind of snaps out, and it's fine now. He's just shaking.
Tim, you're a local lad, aren't you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't happen to know a young lady called Ira Stonefield, would you? A young girl went missing about a month ago.
A bit young to be in my friendship circle, but yeah, I know of her.
A young girl, was it? How old would you be saying?
Barely reached the teens.
Barely reached her teens. It's a young way for a girl. So tragic that she might go missing in such a well-defended town. You wouldn't happen to know Aldo, would you? The young lad that also went missing.
He was quite young too, but even younger actually. Must have been half her age.
You wouldn't. What's the feeling in the town among you young folk? A little nervous about such disappearances happening?
Just as nervous as the rest of the folk.
And you haven't heard anything about what might have been involved in those disappearances, would you?
I've been quite busy actually. Looks over at Nails.
Well, thank you, my lad. Thank you. Do you gentlemen have any more questions for the wee fella?
Where's my bed? That's about it, really.
Upstairs. First door on the left.
Good night, gentlemen.
Unfortunately for you, Light, you've got the roadside. It shouldn't be too noisy there.
Light is a heavy sleeper. He's used to sleeping on the street, not just by it.
Your rooms are, as I said, fairly small, but fairly homely, very comfortable, very soft beds, and well cleaned. It's a good night's sleep after your days of on the road, or it would be.